Hello and welcome to my couch in my living room, because this is where I sit a lot. And I also sit here when I do my crafting, as in mostly my knitting. Very little crochet. I haven't crocheted in like what feels like forever. But yeah, knitting, it's a thing. I like it, and I've been doing some of it lately. The first thing I did, or the first thing I finished, I have some finished objects and then I have one ongoing object. Technically I have several, but some of them are like not a permanent hiatus, but yeah, I don't know how to continue, to be honest, so I just put it on pause and kind of left it there. At some point I will do something. But the first thing I finished was this. It's made of cotton, and like, look, there's the name and all. And I don't remember how quick my camera is to focus. Let's be honest, it's not quick. It's simply a tiny little dishcloth. Smaller than others I've used, or others that I've made, but the reason for that is very simple. That was the yarn I had left. So yeah, tiny, or not, it's not tiny, it's smaller than the others, is more correct way to put it. So that was the first thing I finished, but this is cotton. And most of what I'm working on right now is wool. And the reason I did this, because it's super simple to make. So when I sit and edit these videos, not that I edit a lot, but when I sit and watch through the videos before I publish them, I needed something simple that I could just sit and not have to look at all that much, and these things, you know, they do the trick. It's great, in my opinion. And then I have, in my opinion, a lot of yarn. So I did a thing the other day, and part of me regrets doing it, and then a part of me is happy kind of to like shove it in my face and say, seriously? You can't buy any more yarn at the moment. You have to use some of what you got. Because, you know, and I have been using wool yarn. I have other yarns too, but I'm currently focusing on the wool. And I have been making several things before I went to the idea of, hey, let's weigh in and call it kind of like a dieting yarn project to see where I'm starting. And it's not even my original starting point. I don't know how to feel about that, which is why I'm a little bit on the, it was good that I did it, but I didn't really like it. Because the starting weight for my yarn, which, as I just said, it's not technically the starting weight. I started even higher, like between 600 or 700 grams higher. But I weighed in before I made what I'm going to show you a little bit later. But I weighed in all my wool yarn, all the full balls, all the scraps, all everything. And then I just sat and laughed at myself for a bit, because wow, that was more than I expected. Because generally, where I live, this is a regular ball of yarn. They're 50 grams. That's kind of like the general thing. They're 50-gram balls. Most yarn is that weight. And obviously a lot of random different types of yarn. I have so many different ones. I have very few that are like a lot of the same. That's a whole lot of problem, or a part of the same problem, I guess. Anyway, my yarn weighed in at 4,286 grams. So that's almost 4.3 kilos of yarn. But as I said, that's only my wool yarn. What my other yarn weighs, I don't know, and right now I don't want to know, because wow, that was was a lot more than I expected. I mean, if I count it into these kinds of balls of yarn, 50-gram balls, that would mean I have 86 balls of yarn. 86! That's a lot. I mean, I knew I had a lot, as I said, but like, wow! Didn't expect that. I'm working on using it up though. So, the first thing I did was grab what for me was a small ball of yarn, and this is the leftover. So I'm considering tossing this in the garbage, but you know, even tiny scraps might be useful for something. But I mean, this, I think it's like 2 grams, so I don't think what I can use, I have no idea. If you got any tips to what I can use teeny tiny scraps of yarn for, let me know down in the comment section, because I got no idea. And this is an old yarn, as most of my yarn is. It had this beautiful band on it. It's super wash, and this is the time, because this is a newer one, and here when you read it, it says this is 50 grams or 1.80 set. I don't know. Oz? I don't know what that means. It's not my kind of figuring out things, but this is 50 grams. This one is old enough to say approximately 50 grams. So around there somewhat, but not quite. Possibly. Who knows? It's something. So what you do with one ball of yarn, at least what I've decided to do with when I have like one ball of yarn, or approximately one ball of yarn, is wrist warmers. And these are super simple, just basically 3 pearls and 1 knit, and they're a good length. You obviously decide where in the arm it is, but I made a pair of those. So that was the first pair I made, and this is 100% wool. And for the needles I used, they called for 3.5 to 4 millimeter, I think. I don't know. I don't remember. I think I used 3.5 or 4 millimeter needles. It's what the yarn asks for or calls for, but this was the first pair I made. I'm happy with these, hoping to sell them. Oh, that's another thing that happened just a couple of days ago. I'm so excited because, you know, I am doing this to use up my yarn, but I'm also doing this to, how do I put this? Get rid of stuff. And sure, using it like this is the start of it, I guess you could say, but I'm also hoping to sell some of it. I don't need like 15 pairs of wrist warmers. Or maybe someone does, I don't. So I'm hoping to sell these, but what I was going to say was throughout the last week, I have a blog in Norwegian and I sometimes put stuff on there. And I put on there, I took pictures of the ones that I had made by then and put them on the blog and linked to it on my Facebook, personal Facebook, and said, hey, I got these for sale. So if someone wants to buy them, this is your chance. And someone actually did. And I thought, well, maybe I'll get lucky and sell 1 pair, but no, that person, she bought 2 pairs. One that you haven't seen and you will in a way never see, and 1 pair is a purple one that I showed in one of the other episodes. I have a picture of them and I'm gonna put it up somewhere. But it's 1 pair of blue and 1 pair of purple, and I sold 2 pairs and I'm really excited about it. So I'm hoping that trend will continue and I will get to sell more. But yeah, this was the first pair that I finished. Super easy to make. And then I made something I mean, look Look at this one. Can you see? You could just, it kind of shouts at you, I'm old. Really. I mean, it's very cute though. And it has this beautiful light blue color, and it's super soft, and it's 100% merino wool. And I don't know what they used to do with merino wool back in the day. And this is also a tag where it says approximately 50 grams. Not necessarily, but approximately. And I knit, the ones I use this for, I knit them on 2.5 millimeter needles. And I realized I prefer 3 and 3.5 millimeter needles, but this yarn called for 2.5, so that's what I used. And here's the result. And I have to say, I have hair everywhere. That's not really what I had to say. But I think these are my favorite ones that I've ever made actually. They're super simple, just 4 tiny little cables around it all. And the rest are basically just knits and purls. And it's such a soft yarn. I'm like in love with them. And I love the color. And I used up pretty much the whole yarn. I mean, this is what is left. So yeah, pretty much the whole yarn. And I love them. They might be my favorite that I've actually ever made. And I'm still hoping to sell them though, but yeah. I wish I had more of this specific yarn, but I doubt I can get it. It probably doesn't exist. I tried to look it up online and like, nope. But yeah, that meant I used another ball of yarn, so happy about that. And then I have one yarn that I didn't use the whole thing of, but I'm gonna remedy that later. I promise. Maybe. But yet again, it's an old yarn. You can see it on the tag. I mean, yeah, I don't think you could get this one anymore either. And it also says approximately 50 grams. I love that one. Today, everything have to be like super precise. But back in the day, I was like, yeah, it's about that. Maybe. Approximately. It's fine. But yeah, I have, as you can see, a bit more left of this, and I'm gonna make like some short ones, I think, like super easy. And I used 3 millimeter needles, and this is basically the other part of the yarn. And the reason I'm putting them on so you can see them properly, this is just ribbing, basically ribbing all the way around, no fanciness, and I love the length. And to me, this yarn is a little bit itchy, but most wool yarn to me is itchy, so no surprise there. And I love the color. It's not red, it's not purple, it's not pink, it's like a mix. It's like, I have no idea what this purple is called. According to the tag, well, honestly, according to the tag, I have no idea because I can't read the numbers anymore. I can tell that there are numbers printed here, but they're mostly gone. Yet another proof that this is old. So yeah, but I used most of it, and I'm gonna make not necessarily the exact same, but I gotta use this for something because having this as a leftover is annoying. But these are the red ones, so in the course of, since my last Knitting Diaries, I have knitted 3 pairs of wrist warmers. And by the time I was done with the last pair, even though I really enjoyed it, I was like, okay, I need something bigger because, you know, I don't work magic loop with these. I started, and this is my shame part, I started a pair of socks with magic loop, and yeah, I have still not continued. I'm sorry. And I had like, oh shoot, I don't remember your name, but someone commented about like how to do the heel because I found that to be very intimidating. Even linked a video for me, which I'm very grateful, and I will get to it at some point. I clearly haven't yet, but this is my shame. But I don't do magic loop on these. I do I have something to show you? Yes. I do the regular like 5 needles pointy on both ends when I do this. So I decided I needed something else for a little bit. They were more like a longer bit, to be honest. Because I had 5 balls of these. Baby merino. And do you need like, oh wait, maybe it's the color you need. Whoop. This is so fascinating. I have no idea what you're seeing. But I had 5 of these balls and I decided I want to make something bigger. So I found a pattern on Drops Design, which is technically for like wrist warmers and a thingy for the neck and a hat, and it's called Sweet Verbena. This is the pattern I used when I made wrist warmers in a purple color. The purple ones that I bought, sold, not bought. But this pattern, and I didn't modify it a lot, and I probably could have used like, because I'm just using, I don't know, they have different ones for others. A1. Anyway, I really liked the pattern, how it came up on the purple wrist warmer, so I decided to make a teeny tiny bit of twist on it, and I'm now started working on ball 3, and I'm making a baby blanket, and I really like it, and I have no idea how well it shows up on camera, but I like it. This is the front side, this is the back. It always looks slightly different, obviously. But yeah, I've started ball number 3 now. I really need to I really need to just get going, I guess, with like weaving in ends as I go, because waiting with weaving in the ends until I'm done, not really the smartest. If I could just like have enough self-discipline to weave in the ends as I go, that would be great. But I really like this, and it's enjoyable to knitting on something bigger after, you know, these, because even though I really like them, especially the blue, it gets annoying working with like 5 needles all the time, and I wanted to just like something simple but also with a little bit of pattern, and I really like this. And it's not bright white, it's more like it's not a creamy color either, it's more like it's a tad bit yellow to it actually, I think. But anyway, yes, it will be a baby blanket. And as with the other things that I've made, I really hope someone will buy it. I need to find, I don't know how though, but I need to find a market that I can sit on and sell these things, because I don't know how else I'm gonna do it, because I don't think it's gonna sell that much through my blog. So yeah. But those were the things that I wanted to talk about. And this, the first pattern when I did it was like, oh, I have to pay attention a lot. And now when I'm pattern 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I've started the 7th pattern, and I'm like not halfway yet, but it's getting really easy to do. I don't have to, well, obviously I have to pay attention to not mess up, but I don't have to like pay super much attention. It goes mostly on its own now, because I know the pattern well enough to like just sit in it and watch YouTube instead. So yes. And this is 100% merino wool, and I'm using, the needle is, gosh, The needle is, and I put the tag in here, it's 80 centimeter long and it's 3.5 millimeters. So I think I've kind of found my ideal thickness, 3.5. And I generally, I mean, I've seen people talk about like their needles being like bamboo or interchangeable and wood and so many different things. I mean, I'm a simple girl. I use my, like, you can't detach these, and if they do get attached, that means they're broken. We do not want that to happen, but I use my metal needles and I'm very happy about it. So yeah, I have been loving doing this. I love knitting in general, so you know, it's not a far stretch to say I'm loving this. But I think my camera will be about to shut me off any moment now, so that was it. That was the Knitting Diaries of the day. I hope you enjoyed this. Tell me, which one did you prefer? The green ones? The blue ones? Or the red ones? I call them red. As I said, it's not fully red, but like, there's a lot of pink in them. But which one do you like the most? Let me know down in the comment section. I hope to see you in the next video. I hope you had a good day today. And yeah, happy knitting if you like doing that. Bye!